My next guest combined two of his passions, rock and roll with cartoons, to create an animated TV show for kids from 7 to 70. An artist, he designed the characters, their themes, personalities, storylines, and today I'm delighted to say hi, Richie Sirgiovanni.
Hi,
How
Gail.
are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Ah, my pleasure. Richie, we are going to show this delightful video that you had created, but first I have to ask you, I know you said that you gave up a lot in the last 4 years to take on this project. Why did you do it, and why is this your passion?
I've been passionate about creating art and music and doing stories and things like that for many years as a little kid. And I went through the course of my life of doing, being a musician, getting married, raising a family, doing all the traditional things we had to do. But I finally, a few years ago, my wife and I, we got to the point where our 3 kids are raised, and we're still young enough and healthy enough to, to do all the things that we want to do. So I decided that, I was going to really give it a really good shot. And I have been freelancing as a cartoonist for many, many years, but when I developed this idea and I really thought I was onto something, I says, I'm putting everything aside.
That's it.
And I'm doing this.
This is your passion.
This is it.
This is it. This is it.
And you go around once in life, or at least if that's what you're going to remember, and you're going to go do it. So I said, that's how I'm going to approach it.
Well, we have a great video which goes into how you got started, a little bit of your influences, and I can't wait to see this. So let's take a look at it, please.
Okay. My name is Richard Sirgiovanni, and I'm the creator of the Grimps.
We're the Grimps, we're the band, playing where we can. We're the Grimps, we're the band, playing one-night stands.
The Grimps story started 500 years ago when they were minstrels living in a faraway land. There's Winston, Mac, Mooney, Magic Alex, and Emerson. Everyone loved their music, except for one, Spectre, the wicked wizard that was very, very jealous of their popularity and cast a spell on them, turned them into hairy Grimps, and cursed them for eternity into the forest of Dingle, where they never would be seen of again. Until one day, Magic Alex was able to come up with a spell that transformed them temporarily back to humans from sunset to sunrise, and resurfaced as the great musicians they were, the new pop sensation, the Grimps. My inspiration for the Grimps came when I was looking for a new creative project to put together, so I decided to combine my 2 passions, which was rock and roll and cartooning. My music background goes back to the day I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I was inspired and started playing drums. I played in bands in New York City for years and just had a great passion for music. After graduating college, I freelanced as a cartoonist. The cartoons I enjoyed as a youth: Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, Stan Lee in Marvel Comics, especially Spider-Man, and Bill Keane from the Family Circus. When I was 8 years old, I was visiting an aunt out in Arizona, and I heard that Bill Keane had lived out there. So I looked him up, I took a bus on my own, found out where he lived, knocked on his door unannounced, and said, I want to be a cartoonist. He was very gracious. He brought me into his studio. He showed me around. I thought it was so cool that some guy can make his living sitting in his room, drawing cartoons, and at that point I was inspired. Each episode is going to have stories promoting positive messages, introducing original music, and from time to time going back and touching on the history of the Grimps. The first Grimp we have is Winston. He's the creative genius. He's very blunt and honest. Then we have Mac, the melodic, real musician of the Grimps. Usually pushes everyone around to make sure that the music is absolutely perfect. And Mooney is the wild and mischievous drummer of the Grimps. He's wacky. Then we have Emerson, quiet, very spiritual, And then we have Magic Alex, who is not one of the musicians, but he is their manager and their wizard. Some of the other secondary characters that are in the show, Domo, kind of like a cross between Rocky Balboa and Herman Munster's, the only person that really knows the Grimps secret. Then we have Billy and Shears, friends of the Grimps from 500 years ago. They unfortunately were both caught in the moment the spell was cast and were shrunk to miniature size and banished to a forest of Dingle with the Grimps. And we have Greenie. Greenie is the paparazzi. His quest is to follow them, get a picture of them changing so he can sell it to one of the supermarket magazines. And then we have the fan club, Sin, Maureen, and Patty. These three girls love the Grimps, follow them around, keep the fan base going. Spectre is the evil wizard that cursed the Grimps and banished them for 500 years. He reoccurs in the storyline once the Grimps come back to society.
Having fortunately been involved in a lot of young startups,
The Grimps struck me as being something very special.
that is also going to be a point of education as well.
Subtly teaching the history of rock and roll.
The fact of being able to sit down with your family and watch something and hear some music that is not tearing anybody apart or hurting anybody along the way. It's telling the
This is
story.
a fabulous piece that
Thank you.
you put together. It gets so much across. But I have to ask you, going to Arizona as a child, and then you go and you knock on Bill Keene's door?
Yeah, I was. I've been a comic book reader and collector
Devotee,
since
I'm sure.
I'm a little kid, and I started drawing by copying in the funny papers. And when you were able to see comic strips in the paper before they shrunk them down to nothing,
Right.
Bill Keene and the Family Circus was one of my favorites, and
Oh, I
I
remember that,
taught
of
myself
course.
to draw by doing that. So I had an aunt that lived in Arizona. I was there, and I found out that he lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I took the initiative at 10 years old and
You believe 10
found
years
my
old.
way on a bus. And they don't have the greatest mass transit in Arizona.
Right, okay.
And found and walked to Bill Keene's house, and I knocked on his door, and he let me in and brought me in his studio. And
That's amazing.
it was magic, you know.
That was
seeing-
it. You knew. You saw that,
Yeah.
and he was so kind to you.
Yes.
And took you under his wing.
I mean, he literally stared at me, so this little kid, and I said,
Who are you?
I want to be a cartoonist. And I said, that was unlike me, especially at that time, to do that to a stranger. And he brought me in, and that was one of the
He
beginnings.
saw
of,
something in you.
I guess so.
I really do believe
guess
that.
so.
Did you show him some of your artwork at the time?
No, I was there
didn't?
on a visit, and he
Okay.
did let me sit at his table.
Oh,
and
what an
I
honor.
sketched some of his drawings for him.
How exciting
Because
for
I had
you.
memorized how to draw certain
Sure,
characters,
sure.
and some of his were.
Let's take a look at some of the characters that you have, because it said combination of Beatles, Lord of the Rings. Now, what character are you most like? Is it Mooney, or are you a compilation?
Well, I am a drummer, and Mooney's the drummer
Right.
of the Grimps, but no.
Oh, you're
The
too cute.
characters when I developed this were developed from personality traits of rock and roll stars that I thought would be good, strong personality traits. And the overall theme of the Grimps is sort of a tribute to rock and roll.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to do that and borrow by some people in in the rock and roll
So they're
world.
not just the Beatles, because I'm looking at
No.
Winston, and I'm thinking, which character is this? Was George Harrison
Well,
Emerson?
The graphics are definitely influenced by the Beatles, but
okay.
this show is mainly directed when I started developing for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it was also a way to reintroduce them to the classic periods of rock and roll, and a lot of them don't know who
Right.
the Beatles are, so I just
You're
took
trying
that
to
on
show
as
that.
a direction.
Okay, I know they're moving me along here. Magic Alex, will he help this group? Spectre, will he destroy them? And the Greenies, will they reveal? Greenie, will he
Greenie, the
reveal
paparazzi.
what's going on? Do you have a problem with paparazzi?
Do I have a problem? No, but
Do
they
you
do.
see who has a problem? Done a film many years ago, Angelina Jolie, and I see you have a character named Jolie.
Yeah,
And
yes.
one of the paparazzi literally climbed down a building to get a picture, almost killed me in the process.
Oh my God.
But went to take, so I could see that. We have to talk a little bit here about some of your episodes. I love this. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and you have Debbie who doesn't see something. Tell us a little bit about that one particular episode.
Well, the overall theme of what the Grimps series is going to be about promoting positive messages and try to do it in a, not being in a preachy way, but an entertaining way. But we have one episode that's written called Beauties in the Eyes of the Beholder, and a storyline of Winston, one of the Grimps, is in the forest and runs across this blind-looking girl. The thing with the Grimps is that they look like these ugly little monsters in the daytime because of this curse, and they turn back to humans in the evening. So this blind girl, Debbie, does not know what he looks like, but they build a friendship, and she sees what's really in his heart, and he helps her out.
Right. Now, licensing, you could do so much with this once this catches on. Want to see the video about the Grimps, because the video about...
Welcome to the Grimps TV show. Join us for an exciting episode as we take you to the toppermost of the poppermost. You're daydreaming again, mate. We don't have a show yet, but we will soon.
He might be right. I have some exciting news. We're about to audition for the famous producer, Raymondo. He's looking for a band for his new TV show.
I once saw the great Raymondo the magician. He was so bad he made the audience disappear.
Sure, that would be fab. When's the audition?
How about right now? He gave me a cell phone number. When he answers, I'll put him on speaker, and then we'll play our song for him.
Hello, Raymondo's Chinese restaurant. You like egg roll with meal?
How about a drum roll?
Stay calm and carry on.
Hello, Raymondo. Raymondo Hat Company. What size is your brim?
Brim? We're brimming with rock and roll.
One size fits all. My roll is about to brim over. I want to play some music.
Me too. Me too.
I think we all do.
Let's do it, lads. There's lots of other producers and programmers out there. You'll play for them all.
Winston, Mac, Emerson, and Mooney, clap your hands, everybody sing. Winston, Mac, Emerson, and Mooney, clap your hands, everybody shout. We're the Grimps, we're the band, playing where we can. We're the Grimps, we're the band, playing one-night stands. Come along and sing our song, we're gonna rock it all night long.
Okay, thank you, Richie.